What episode are we on?
30.
30? All right, so if I was
30.
like, welcome to episode of Geek Savants, I'm Dave DeWanch.
I'm supreme with cheese.
Grant Miller.
Brian Roberts.
Ron Zorb.
Brian, you sounded so low-key there, Brian.
Yeah, sorry about that.
It's Grant. Grant brings the energy down after me all the time. I say super ugly. Grant goes, Grant Miller. Then Brian's only feeding off of that energy.
Yeah, you can't siphon gas out of an empty tank. Fucking
Right.
Grant. Oh my god. So welcome to the show. What are we doing this week?
You brought up, you got a bug up your ass, as you tend to do, and you
It's one of my fetishes, John.
Yeah, literal live insects up my ass. And you were like, hey guys, let's talk about our favorite comic book movies. And because you had just watched Spider-Man Far From Home, I believe.
Oh, okay. So we came up with this idea like a month ago and just are now getting around to it.
Yes.
Okay.
It took a while. We had to plug all the movies into Grant's random randomizer, and that thing takes about 4 weeks to run. So, yeah, he has it powered off of a car battery, as you know. So, Grant, I did want to say to one real quick thing in discussing the random randomizer. My hair is
Okay.
stupid.
There's nothing you can do to fix that hair right now, John.
This is an old bit, but you posted your list of randomized, songs. And you posted it on Facebook as like, ha ha ha, everyone, look at my random list. And then did you see what my comment was?
I did not.
How is anybody supposed to see this, Grant? The print was so small. I couldn't even see the picture. I clicked on the picture. I tried to zoom in with my computer, and I couldn't.
It didn't work?
No, you put up a picture that was like 3,000 by 4,000 or something. And we're like, hey, everyone, zoom in on this type that's like the 0.1 font type size. So it was like so tiny.
I'll fix it.
So is the joke that your stupid random randomizer basically copied the songs over and over again?
It didn't, though.
Just tell me the joke so I don't have to wait for you to
There's
post
no
this stupid
joke.
thing. Oh, my God.
The joke is that I spent so much time compiling this list and trying to foolproof make sure that it would play like a shuffle, yet it kept playing the same fucking shit over and over again.
I feel like Grant's life is performance art. I feel like somehow we just don't get it. We don't understand anything that goes on in your fucking weird ass mind.
I was trying to. So, do you have an explanation for me, Grant, as to why your randomizer, like why your stereo kept playing like frickin' the theme song from Greatest American Hero 8 times? It was on shuffle and it played the same songs 8 times. It is such a Grant shuffle. That's Grant shuffle right there.
The Grand Shovel.
Grant shuffle.
Let's
do the Grant shuffle
right now. Please stand up and do the truffle shuffle.
I'm not going to do it.
No, he's not.
The only thing that I can explain is that I pre-shuffled it before the stereo shuffled it, and that like fucked it up. That's.
I don't want to go too deep on this, but that shit sounds fucking insane, Grant. I don't understand how you managed to. You made a list of songs of 650 songs. You then randomized it, okay, but you didn't add the same songs over and over again. But you randomized it, then you put it into a stereo and hit shuffle on the stereo, and then somehow that made that stereo play songs like 8 times in a row, like 8 times,
or even the same like artists over and over again. Like I don't know how that works.
Oh, I know how it works. I definitely know how it works. It's got that Miller touch on it. It's Miller time. All right, so you guys gave me your 5 favorite movies, and I took it and I placed it into Grant's random randomizer. And that sounds like beep, boop, boop, beep, boop, beep, beep. And then what we did is that came out just like we did with our fasties. This is now not anybody's order. This is just, we're going to randomly put these up and I put them up. I say what order they're in. That's what I'm saying. The randomizer says what order they're in. Okay.
Are they doing battle, or is it?
No. This is top, bottom to top, bottom to top. It's from Brian to Dave. It's a bottom to a top. All right. There you go.
So is Brian the bottom and
Brian was the bottom. I should have made Grant the top. I don't know. Dave doesn't seem too much like a top.
If you but just make sure to clear out room. Just pull the insects out of my ass.
Yeah. Are we okay? Top or bottom? Go. Brian, are you top or bottom? Go.
What? Both? No.
I know, right? It's true. I feel like I'm a giver. I can be both.
It's you're Schrodinger's cat. You are both. You exist in the same space.
If it's there or it's not there, I'm okay. If I'm doing or receiving, I don't care. All right. So we're going to start at our first one. And as we are all in our late stages of life, we have forgotten exactly what movies we picked. So if your movie comes up, please shout it out. Okay. All right, let's see here. Boopity boop.
Oh, all right. Me, I believe.
That is yours, Dave. Good job.
Yeah. I love this movie. I love Mystery Man. It was unexpected. I didn't really know that much about the Flaming Carrot characters before seeing this movie, so it just was like a fresh take for me.
First off, I didn't know they were in Flaming Carrot, so that's a one for me that I did not actually know that's where they came from.
Yeah, and I never read, back then I don't think we were really reading indie stuff, and that to me was like really indie stuff.
Does anybody like Flaming Carrot?
I've never read that issue.
Yeah, never read it.
How about Concrete? Anybody read Concrete?
I read Concrete.
How was it?
Yeah, I like it. It's really understated though. It's really like not action-packed in any stretch of the imagination. But this movie is action-packed and really fun, and the cast is just fucking unbelievable, right? I mean, probably Ben Stiller's my favorite Ben Stiller movie, which it's a short list of Ben Stiller movies that I like. But
did you just say this was your favorite Ben Stiller movie?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. What's your favorite Ben Stiller movie?
Something About Mary. Meet the
that
Parents.
Movie. Watch that again. Watch those again. He's annoying as fuck in those movies. He's great in this movie. Yeah, I'm not a Stiller fan by any means.
Oh, now the truth comes out. You don't even like Ben Stiller.
Yeah. No.
Oh, okay.
Hank Azaria, love. Garofalo, had a huge crush on. Love this movie, The Bowler. Great.
You do like a Garofalo, don't you?
I did.
This is funny because of course I didn't even know it was based off a comic. And the cast was incredible. And it's funny. I think it's still a good movie and holds up.
It does. It definitely holds up. And, it came out in a time when comic book movies were fucking terrible. You know what I mean? And right. It like stands out as a high mark in the 90s.
Yeah, but people hate it. So I don't know.
I've never seen it all the way through.
Really?
What?
You just didn't like it?
I've only seen. I've never given it a chance. I've watched like parts of it here and there, and it just seemed okay. I'll watch it.
Yeah, I mean, you've only been not watching it for 20 years, so
yeah. I mean, don't stop starting now.
Don't stop. Yeah. All right, now whose dumb movie was this? And I know exactly whose it was. I'm saying it's dumb just because I know who picked it. What?
That's my dumb movie.
Oh shit!
This is another one I've never seen.
Well,
yeah,
you probably have if you saw Deadpool 2, because
I know. Weirdly, you two morons picked fucking this and Deadpool 2. So we're gonna have a good talk about Deadpool 2. I feel. What's the difference between this and Deadpool 2?
This scene right here, the whole Princess Bride setup with Prince Savage. That's the only reason why I like this version.
God, I can't believe
the movie itself can whatever, but this part is funny.
You are
the little
fired.
stuff that he's doing with Prince Savage. That's hilarious. There you go.
How much up there is it?
Yeah, is it spliced into the movie? Like, is there a bunch of different?
Yeah, it's like he kidnaps him to go through this whole entire thing right here, and it's just he sets up the whole Princess Bride parts where the what is it? The grandfather's reading Princess Bride to the grandson. That's kind of how these are set up throughout the movie.
But then it just sort of It goes back to Deadpool 2.
Yeah, and then it goes in just like in Princess Bride. It goes back and forth between Princess Bride and Deadpool. This goes, whatever.
Ron,
here.
Ron, you are an incredible
part, though,
member of our team. I just want to know you are a very.
But the background, they even tried to get a lot of the background that he's in this room, like set up exactly the same. Like that part is hilarious. Like if they get certain angles, you can see like a Captain America figure or something like that that's in Princess Bride. It's just, that part's great. There you go.
All right, well then I guess we'll save this discussion until Deadpool 2 shows up.
And but the other distinction in this version is it's PG, right? They cut out
13.
Yeah, PG-13. Yeah.
What did they cut out?
Anything that made it R-rated.
Yeah.
Oh, I can share this to. I could show this to Bigby.
Yes.
Oh,
Kind of. You might have to do a couple skips, but for the most part, yeah.
All right.
How long is this movie?
What is this?
It's not a full movie.
You mean these parts? This part, the whole Fred Savage part, is all the way through because it's just like the Princess Bride.
So it was like the Christmas special, right?
No, it's Deadpool 2 that they released at Christmas, and they edited together the Princess Bride pieces into the movie, and then took out some of the swearing and violence so they could make it PG-13 and kids could go see it.
That's what I'm saying. It's not Deadpool 2. It's like its own.
No, it's Deadpool 2. That's what we're saying.
2, yes.
It's pulled from, but then they recut it to make it like a Christmas special, right?
But the movie is all
storyline.
Oh my God.
Yeah, literally, this is the only part that has anything to do with Christmas. Like, there's
I
nothing
feel like
else.
Grant is in his own randomizer right now.
I don't know. What's funny is Grant picked Deadpool 2, so I don't know what he's
so
like.
That's what I'm saying. What is this movie? What is
Can we
this
just
movie
talk?
called?
Let's just talk about Deadpool 2 right now, then. Right?
Yeah. Let's get them both out at the same time.
All right, that sounds good. Grant, why'd you pick Deadpool 2?
This is amazing.
That is such a loose term. You're using right there. Amazing.
So it's got one of the best juggernauts ever.
True.
And that whole fight is just at the end is just amazing.
And Colossus
With Colossus,
yeah. Domino is crazy good.
She was good.
Cable's really good.
The whole X-Force part was hilarious.
Yeah.
Do you feel like Deadpool 2 is better than Deadpool 1?
Yeah.
Okay. I think so too, but mainly because it pays off a little bit more than Deadpool 1. But
does it? See, I
don't remember.
I know.
It feels like one giant movie to me.
The only thing about Deadpool 2, I feel, is like the end of it kind of falls apart. Am I wrong? That's the only thing I remember is the ending was just not as good as I felt like it could have been.
What happened at the end?
Exactly.
Well, like the thing is like the kid that was in this, I felt like he was out of his depth in this movie. Like he wasn't that good, and it does revolve around him at the end, right? And it's just like it kind of limply gets to the finish line.
It does have, I will say, it has like great scenes though. Great action scenes, great characters. I just don't know if the story was as great, but it had some really good stuff in it, I think.
It did, but he does go and travel back in time, and
that's the end, right?
At the end.
That was funny.
Right.
He goes and kills
Green Lantern.
Before he does the original Deadpool in the Wolverine movie. It's pretty great.
Yep.
Wow. All right. That was Dave's. All right. Somehow the randomizer put this one at 23. I don't know why it would be so low, but whose was this?
This one's mine.
Yes, it is.
Shocking.
when I say I mean the randomizer put this one 23 because of, it's a little cheese. It's early, so it's a little cheese.
It is, but it's shockingly. So the reason why I actually really like this movie is because they kind of threw out a good portion of the cartoon, which is pretty awful stuff. They kept some things like the cowabunga, we love pizza, and the colored mask, which the colored mask work because it at least differentiates them. I think they all had the red mask. People would be like, I don't know what's going on.
Brian, one uses a katana.
Well, yeah. But it's the storyline is really, really close to the first 10 issues of Teenage Mutant Ninja, or first 11 issues
It's
of
true.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
It is,
and
true.
like I was blown away when I watched this movie. Because I was like, I can't believe it. Like they didn't make Splinter the guy. Like he was a rat that was just a rat that got smart. They had the whole thing about April and her pawn shop. They had the introduction of Casey Jones is exactly like the comic book. Casey Jones was great. Elias Koteas, he was great as Casey Jones.
How long has it been since you've watched this?
I don't
Watches it every day.
No. It's been some years, probably.
You would say in the last 5 to 10.
Maybe in the last 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree with Brian. Like, to me, when I was watching this, I was a huge Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan. And so, like, watching this, I was like, wow, it's astonishingly accurate to the...
Yeah.
It's, I don't really love the Cowabunga Dude bullshit, but at the same time, like, it's so well done, and the animatronics as far as I remember, the puppets were great, and the martial arts were great too.
Yeah.
I might have to go watch. This is one that Big B hasn't watched.
Yeah, and then stop. After you watch this, there's no other Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies that ever got made.
Go Ninja.
Hey, what's your opinion, Brian, of the Michael Bay fucking Turtles?
I never watched it.
Oh, really?
Watch
Okay.
it.
I don't want to watch it. Why would I watch that?
If they're okay. They're okay. I mean, it's not your Turtles, but like I was pleasantly not, fucking irritated by it.
This ain't your daddy's Turtles.
Who was
So,
what's her name?
Megan Fox.
Yeah.
It was Megan Fox.
And Will Arnett was the cameraman in it.
Right.
Oh, I do like Will Arnett.
Yeah. All right. So that was TMNT. Hey, dude, this is no cartoon, bro. All right.
The J-Wiz 2000 gives us Venom. Is that Venom?
Yeah. I don't know why it would pick this scene, but I think this is pretty indicative of this movie. Who could have picked this one? Who loves to climb with a lobster?
They made Venom exactly how he should have always been done.
What?
I mean,
You're talking like
how else would you want to see Venom be in a movie? I'm putting that out there to you guys.
I didn't see it. Please explain.
You really answered my question. The question, though, I don't want to see Venom in a fucking movie, and so there you go. Yeah,
he's such a great character, and
is he?
Yes. No, I want to eat your brains
Because it's still Brock, right?
Yes,
and he's still a reporter.
He's like an investigative journalist.
Okay. Is he like terrible though? Like, because that's how Eddie Brock was in the comic.
No, he's so good that he like gets fired for like being basically kind of a dick, like an in your face kind of like I'm gonna sneak in behind places and where I shouldn't be and that kind of. They want him to write like a fluff piece, and he's like, my morals, I can't write a fluff piece, kind of a thing,
I felt like he did a good version of Eddie Brock. He was entertaining for, he wasn't like Mad Max. Like he actually had a good personality in it, and it was
weird accent.
Yeah, a little bit. That's okay. And then the way that they made Venom morph around him and interact with things outside of his body and then incorporate them, I thought it was incredible. I thought it was perfect.
Incredible.
This is a guy that I tell him to go watch a movie, and he's like, "Oh, you really got my expectations up." And then he says, "This is incredible." I don't know anymore. I just don't know.
Okay, tell me what you
2020, John. It's 2020. You don't get anything anymore, John. It's all confusing.
You want to know why the randomizer put this so low on the list? Is because, look, like you said, Eddie Brock, not bad. Tom Hardy, not terrible. The special effects were not terrible, not fantastic, though. They were good, but not great. But I did like Venom as like what he was, as like a protector of Eddie Brock and as like a villain, like an anti-hero. But dude, the villain terrible. The whole conceit of the movie was terrible. Like,
Yeah, that wasn't great.
like the best parts were when Eddie Brock was kind of having this dual personality fight with him in the Venom symbiote. And
sure.
I don't know. I mean, I do believe that if they made a second movie, maybe they could figure some stuff out. But as a movie, I did not think it worked. It was definitely like it was okay, not great. Not bad. I wouldn't say it was terrible. I would say if you guys have any inkling at all and it shows up on something, Netflix, whatever, just watch it. It's not terrible, but I just don't see how it. Sorry, Grant. Randomizer said it wasn't that great.
You know who likes this movie for one specific reason is Brian, because he just sold that first appearance of Carnage. He told me about it. You want to talk a little about Brian? Holy fuck! Are you kidding me?
Oh yeah, I sold my 9.8 for almost $600.
Nah,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah,
Crazy.
yeah, it's hot, dude. That book is so crazy hot because of the second movie that's coming out.
Yeah, and that part's good because at the end they show Woody Harrelson as Cletus Cassidy, and I don't know, I mean, I guess that'll be a good storyline. I just wish that if I was these guys, it was Sony by themselves, not Sony and Marvel, but Sony by themselves. If it had been on the level of like Far From Home or Homecoming in terms of their special effects and maybe a little bit of tightening on the editorial, like just kind of tighten it up like they do with Marvel movies, I think they could, but because it was Sony, I think that's where it kind of like lost a little bit of its luster.
I know one of the guys that worked on this movie. I guess Ruben Fleischer's the director, and I know someone that works at the district. And he was like, "Yeah, I don't want to ruin it for you. Just watch it, and then we'll talk about it." And I guess after I watched it, I was like, "Yeah, it was all right." I was like, a lot of it felt jumbled, and he was like, "That's because Tom Hardy threw the script out. He was in character as Brock the entire time, and he was not following the script at all." So like, I was like, this scene, the scene where he's eating his lobster, is all ad lib. He jumped into that fucking shit by himself, not in the script. And they were like, all right, I guess. So tonally, it's a really fucking weird movie, but it's all right. It's just not on.
Grant looks defeated. Grant, I'm sorry, I didn't do it. The randomizer did it.
It's all the randomizer.
True. All right, this is my pick, Creep Show, which is based off of a comic, a really great comic by Bernie Wrightson. I just love this movie. It's one of my favorite like scary movies ever made. Stephen King, George Romero, we all love this movie, I assume, right? Or has everybody seen it?
Yeah. It's been years and years and years. When was the last time you saw this, and does it hold up?
I probably watch this like every couple of years. I love this movie. It's really one of my favorites. It holds up. It's so good. The like direction of it, the way it kind of like all the pulpy comic bookness of it, the way the angles and the lighting and the colors that they use that are so pulpy and stuff. I think it's really good. It's worth a watch if you haven't watched it in a while. It's a good, especially with
Halloween.
Yeah, it's Halloween. And this is actually one that I'm contemplating showing my kid, like, because it's not overly scary, gory, but there are some really scary moments.
Yeah, that's the one with the bugs, right?
Yeah,
this is Creep Show one.
Yeah, with the crate, with the bugs, with the with Jordy Verrill, the moss growing all over Jordy Verrill.
You lunkhead. Yeah,
it's just got so much in it, and it could have probably been higher on my list, but because it's not a superhero thing, I had to kind of put it a little lower. But I didn't. The randomizer did, But so, all right, the next one. Who picked this?
This is Brian's haircut in high school. But it's V for Vendetta, man. I loved it. It's probably the best Alan Moore movie. I don't know if you guys would agree with that. I mean, it's
better than Watchmen.
I think so. It's just a little bit more straightforward and a little less convoluted, and it's pretty faithful. And I loved it.
What are other Alan Moore movies?
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, Watchmen,
Swamp Thing. If you were going to go there, you could say Swamp Thing.
The TV show, was the movie based on Alan Moore stuff?
I don't even know.
He also did From. They also did From Hell.
They did, and that movie sucks.
What? I like From Hell.
Oh, I thought that was okay.
No, I didn't love it.
It would make my list if I was to do like probably a top 50 maybe list of comic book adaptations. I'd probably put From Hell on there.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen that. So.
I like watching Johnny Depp do opium, so that's why I'm just really into it. So,
just go over to his house. I mean, I'm sure what's happening.
I'm afraid Amber Heard's going to throw something at me or chop off my finger. So I don't want to do that. Dave, you love this movie? You love Bald Natalie Portman?
I do. I think that was probably the first time that I was like, oh, look, she's an actor. Like, you know what I mean? Like that was probably I don't know.
My first time thinking Natalie Portman was an actor was in The Professional, dude.
Yeah.
She was a radiant light in that movie. And then in Beautiful Girls.
John Dogger, both of those movies.
She was good in that.
10 years, that girl's going to be hot in those movies for sure.
This is a good one too. Produced by the Wachowskis, but not directed. It is really good. I think this has got some really great stuff in it. It's not perfect, but it does have some. It's a pretty watchable movie, I think.
In the era of the John Constantines and the other shitty movies that were coming out, it was definitely a cut above the rest.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, I know who picked this one.
So low, this one should have been way higher, John. Come on. Come on. The Phantom Zone scene with all the villains from all the different King Kong's there, Godzilla's there. So who isn't?
I didn't blame Grant's random randomizer. I didn't pick this. Come on. I didn't do this one. I'm sorry. Anyway. No, I agree. I knew this would get you upset, but this one is super funny. The only reason I said the random randomizer picked it lower is because I think that the Lego Movie is better than this.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
So that was my only problem was as much as I loved this movie and thought it was really funny, I felt like Lego Movie was just a cut above. But I do agree that those bringing in all those villains was pretty incredible. Like it was.
It's 100 times better than Lego Movie 2, though. So don't tell me you like Lego Movie 2.
I didn't hate it.
Fine.
Yeah,
it wasn't as good as the first one, of course.
Yeah, it felt like the humor in the second one was dumber and just less intricate. I feel like this movie is a good blend of the two. Like it's smart.
I like this movie.
Fun. Yeah.
I like I love that they made Lando, Billy D. Williams, they made him the Two-Face in this one. It was really fun. It was a great touch. The voices of this was really great. Zach Galifianakis as Joker, Will Arnett, Michael Cera as Robin.
Mm-hmm.
It's an incredible voice. I mean, they even got Ray Fiennes to do Voldemort again. It's really, really good. I love it. This movie was really fun.
Yeah.
This one is mine again. I picked Heavy Metal based on another comic book, a comic magazine. This was, I don't know what to say about this one either. This one is incredible. Also, it's early animation that showed us it could be adult. There were boobies, and that was good.
How old were you when you first saw it, would you say?
Gosh, I don't know. I mean, when did it come out? I don't even know what year.
About like 83, 84? Is that
had to be right around then. I mean, maybe, I don't know if my brother must have watched it, but I definitely watched it on like a cable channel.
I watched it later.
Later in life?
Yeah. Well, maybe like in the 90s.
1981, guys. It's so fucking...
Yeah, I was going to say, it was old. So I remember liking it. Especially because John Candy does one of the voices, and me being like, this is early John Candy before he was even like Uncle Buck or anything. And it was like, oh, I love from SCTV, John Candy's in this. I was really excited about it. This one in particular is really great. This scene is great. Door, the one that John Candy does is really great. It's all based off of like Bernie Wrightson and Frank Frazetta style like art. This thing is, and like I said, boobs. Sex and boobs in cartoons when I was under 10, so that's good.
They had this one at Southland. Do you remember Southland Cinema?
Of course.
They used to have this and Rocky Horror play at midnight over there.
Oh, really?
Awesome. That was how I first saw this. I was probably a little too young to see it, but my uncle brought my brother, sister, and I all out, and we saw this because it's a cartoon, right? and then oh boy, yeah.
no boy.
Awkward.
But my brother and sister are much older than me, so I was the one that was the awkward one out of this. But
All right, let's see here. Who picked this one? This would be Iron Man 1.
I think that was me.
I think it was.
Yeah. I'm having internet instability, so we'll see if we get a funny face out of me. I don't know. This to me, I like this movie a lot. I know that you guys would kind of poo-poo the end. I get it. But this was the movie that really did it, right? This is the movie that proved that we were going to get something new out of these comic book movies. And Robert Downey Jr. was like meant to be Tony Stark. And it was I thought it was amazing.
It's probably the first one that did it where it's like the villain is basically the hero, but just bigger and badder, and that the ending fight isn't as good as or as big as you want it to be. But I watched it on TV not that long ago. I was like traveling and it was on TV, and I'm like, I'll just fucking have it on in the background. And I couldn't help but like get absorbed into it. It's really, really well done. Like it's legit. And like Brian said, without this movie, you would not have the Avengers Endgame without this first one, because this was the one that proved that you could do it.
There's been a lot of so I've been listening to a lot of podcasts about the best movies of all time kind of a thing, and it's like they talk about, do you put the first because it's the first, or do you put maybe the later iteration of the thing that's better? So let's just say, for hypothetical, we were going to say, well, this list, in fact, it shows up where we have more current movies as our more favorite of these movies. It's hard to say well, without this movie, none of that stuff happens, and so it has to show up on some lists, I think, just for that specific reason. That without it, where would we be? This really, like Brian said and Dave said, it's like it showed everybody what could really be done on these things.
And it is the best Iron Man movie. If you look at the real steep decline.
I was going to ask, is this the best one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like 3, but I'm alone.
No. You like 3?
I do.
I hate 3. Oh my God. It's so terrible to me.
I love Shane Black. I'm so weird.
I like the second one for what it was. I know that it's not story heavy, but I like Black Widow a lot. I like War Machine.
War Machine. Yeah.
Them fighting together against the drones or whatever was great. It looked really, really great. And it showed what the action in an Iron Man movie could be. And then the third one kind of took all that and threw it out the window. And they're like, we're going to make this about Tony Stark, right?
Yeah.
And to me, I'm like, I like Iron Man more than I like Tony Stark. I think Tony Stark to me isn't like a great character. But
you could say Iron Man 1, 2, and 3, but if you really go all of the movies, he is such a main character in all of these movies. It's like in Infinity War, it's almost his movie in a sense. He's main forefront of that movie. There's all these Avengers movies. He's he saves the day at the end of Avengers. So it is funny how he has 3 movies, but he is such a big character in these. Same with Cap. Him and Cap are such big characters in these movies. All of them,
Mm-hmm.
All right, this one is mine. This is Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Again, I never read the book it was based on, but this movie is directed by Edgar Wright, who is one of my favorite directors, and I just thought this was, a lot. What's funny about the picks that I've had so far that were mine, Creepshow, Heavy Metal, this one so far, they seem to be, to me, able to ape a comic book. In a sense, they do a lot of bright colors, a lot of edits that seem like comic panels. This one did a great job of doing edits with where it looked like it was a comic book being read.
Yeah, the cutscenes were pretty awesome.
It's so good. I was really bummed when you picked this movie because I was like, man, it is on my list for sure. And I just watched it not that long ago, and it's still fucking awesome. Chris Evans, fucking so good. It's got
Brandon Routh is really funny in it too.
Yeah. It's just really, really, really good. I mean, let's talk about Chris Evans though. Like that guy's been in so many fucking comic book movies. It's
Now, this one is great because Edgar Wright is somebody who was originally attached to Ant-Man, and when I heard that, I was like, "Oh shit!" Like he needs to do a superhero. I know he was bummed and he didn't have a good experience, and he left Ant-Man due to like they wouldn't give him full creative. But he's somebody that should do a superhero movie. Like he's got that visual tone that would work so well in this world, and I really am bummed that he hasn't done one yet.
So, question for you, John: what would you want Edgar Wright to direct or write?
Honestly, he could do. You know what would be good is like, how about Black Knight? He's British, or Captain Britain, something that's British with a British sensibility. That like, because he really nails it with the trilogy that he did. So I think that he could maybe knock out one of those characters pretty good. Something that's going to be visually, it can't be like a Black Widow type thing. It has to be something that's going to cross into a world that's going to use the best of his abilities.
Micronauts.
Right.
Oh, I like that you're like, let's go real small again. Just give him
right. His Ant-Man would have been good, and you could tell some of the stuff that's in Ant-Man that are from his original ideas. And so it bums me out that he wasn't the one that ended up directing that. All right, let's see our next one. Oh, we already talked about this dumb movie. This is Grant's Deadpool 2. Grant loves it.
Who doesn't love it? Come on.
All right.
John froze.
Yeah.
I mean, really, Grant just pulled his dick out and said, "Suck it, bitches," and we all just said, "Okay, yeah, you're right."
Yeah, sure, whatever you say.
I'm not the biggest Cable fan, but he did an awesome Cable.
He was really good as Cable.
Oh yeah, he was.
That's another motherfucker that's been in hella comic book movies. Hella, he was in Men in Black. He was in fucking Deadpool 2. He was Jonah Hex. What else?
Was Jonah Hex? I forgot.
Well, Thanos.
Thanos, right? That's 4 right there. That's
4. He came out and was like, "Guys, I did Cable for the money, but Thanos is my real like guy. Okay, that's who I have. My loyalties are to that one over Cable." So I thought that was weird. All right, so then this one, I think Brian picked this one. No, Dave.
No.
Did I pick this one? I picked this one.
You did a really good job, John, of not picking superhero stuff.
I did. This one is another graphic novel that I never read, but in terms of, I know. Who reads comic books, I tell you?
No.
This is History of Violence, and this movie is just awesome. It's about this guy who's a killer who's hiding out from other killers accidentally gets noticed one day, which he tries not to be, and then all of a sudden things go down at his house and stuff starts happening. And
Vigo fucking did the best job.
Right. What was the other movie that he was in? Right, this one, and then there was the one where he played the Russian,
Eastern Promises or something like that.
God, both those movies back to back are
you're just like watching naked bathhouse fights. That's like
these are both Cronenberg, right?
I think
those were both Cronenberg, weren't they?
Did he do?
Well, Eastern Promises wasn't it?
Oh well, then I know he did this one. This one's great. I mean, it's just super violent, but like just an incredible like Vigo. Vigo is somebody that I'm really disappointed we didn't get his star turn 10 years earlier. Maybe even not 10 years, but 10 years before Lord of the Rings. So, he was in like G.I. Jane. He was in a few movies, but it's like once he became Aragorn, he became such a big star, and he but he's so old at that point. He's old when he becomes Aragorn. And so it's like he misses out on a lot of like what it's obvious from these movies. He could have been a real badass. He could have been a John Wick.
This movie, when you mentioned that you were going to put this one on, I totally was thinking about Road to Perdition, which I don't think made our list, but they're like tonally similar. They're super dark, and they're both based on graphic novels that we haven't read. But yeah.
How long has it been since everybody's watched Road to Perdition?
Been a while.
When it came out?
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? Do you find that weird, or did you just not enjoy it that much?
Oh, I liked it a lot. I liked it. Really, really good. It's just dramas. You know what I mean? Like you got to be in a certain mental state to watch a good drama, and usually I'm not in that frame, and I don't think of the movie when I'm.
It's a Tom Hanks movie. It's got violence and shooting and stuff, and it's good direction. Paul Newman is like one of his last movies. It's like I keep thinking about it and being like, oh, I should watch this movie again because like I hadn't seen it since we saw it in the theaters, or but I just it hasn't come back up again around where I've had the time to watch it. But it is definitely one. Road to Perdition is one that has been floating around recently that I want to watch again because I assume it's got to be good.
Oh, it's great! It's great.
It's like it's got to be good. But all right, is Vigo in that too? No,
that's Tom Hanks.
It's Tom Hanks. Yeah.
All right, Blade 2. This is Brian, right? No.
Okay, I was gonna say if it wasn't someone, I would pick this. I don't know. The movie's awesome. It's badass. There's not. I mean, it's just because it's Del Toro, and it's just balls to the walls action. It was so much fun. This movie is so much fun. Having like a whole group of guys going to fight these like monstrous, super Del Toro vampires.
It's not even a bunch of dudes. It's a bunch of fucking vampires that are fucking going after these.
Like these like uber vampires.
It's so good.
So good. Yeah, this movie's so much fun.
I think I saw this with you, Brian. I think
we did see it.
We both were like, I could just fucking give you a hand job right now. We're so fucking.
No, we were. There's no like, were we?
The entire time. It was so good. Oh my god!
I think they were in the wrong theater.
Yeah. when the first time that vampire like flips open its jaw like that in the beginning was so great. I was like hooked. As soon as that happened, I was like, I'm in. This is incredible. Mm-hmm. And that I personally I might irritate some people, but I hate Blade 1. And
really?
I just am not
okay.
Yeah, I'm not
okay.
I'll tell you what it is, honestly, and I don't mind the guy that much, but it's Steven Dorff. I just can't hang. He's not right for me. He's not the bad guy that I wanted. Whereas like this one,
he's like 5 foot. He's a 5'2" dude. You know what I mean? Like there's no way that he wouldn't like just get crumbled and crunched.
He's got his little vape cigarette and he's out there like vaping. I can't handle it. All right. And so, but this one, I mean, this is like you said, it's like Del Toro. Like the scene that tripped me out is when they're back at Whistler's place in the beginning and those other two vampires break in and they show them like flipping in the ceiling over to where they are. And it was obvious that it was like they use like a kind of a computer animation. I just love the way it looked, though. I was so hooked on that too. I was like, oh, okay, now this is them really. Del Toro's really trying to like make it kind of like a like a comic book type of a movie or whatever. And but yeah, this was my first Del Toro movie too, which was like really good.
Yeah. I don't know if this was my first Del Toro movie, but it was definitely one of the movies where I was like, who the fuck directed this? Because it is hella well done. Like...
And that's what I'm saying. You see that monster, that first the main bad guy or with a vampire, and you're like, oh man, what is this? Is such a new take on like vampires,
It's not on anyone's list, but what does everyone think of Blade 3? It's terrible, but there are some like really good parts in it. Just like a few little... Beale's great. Ryan Reynolds, that's another dude that's been in hella comic books.
Oh, dude, that's right. He was in that.
Yeah. There's a Pomeranian vampire with a split open mouth. I don't know. It's fucking weird. It's a weird movie, and there's so much drama and behind the scenes in that movie that I'm like fascinated by that fucking movie. It's so weird.
I do like that Mahershala Ali is the new Blade, and I'm hoping that this becomes something. Like he is a character. They're using him in the Avengers now. He's a part of the Avengers, and so in the comics, yeah. And so it's good. I could tell they're trying to like work these guys. Like you had Shang-Chi was one of the Avengers, Ghost Rider, like this character. So they're trying to like
Ghost Rider was an Avenger.
That car one, the new one, the guy that drives the car.
Okay.
Yeah, which is not good, by the way. It's not a good character. I don't like that character. No. I haven't liked any of these Ghost Riders lately. They're all dumb. Give me Johnny Blaze.
Is Danny Ketch your Ghost Rider, or is Johnny Blaze your Ghost Rider?
Johnny Blaze, but Danny Ketch is pretty good too.
I like the Danny Ketch motorcycle. I think it's fucking cool.
More sleek skull thing at the front. Yeah.
I think what I don't like about this new Ghost Rider is the head design is not so much the classic like Thanatos or Xanatos skull. It's kind of like this sleeker. It just has a weird look to it. It's not right. I am not a fan. All right, but that's neither here nor there. All right, our next one.
You'd be a bigger fan if it wasn't Ghost Rider, John. You'd be like, "Oh, that's a cool looking character," but it's not.
Ghost Rider. Yeah. Is everyone aware of Cosmic Ghost Rider? Have we discussed this? Do you guys know what that is?
I know he exists, but I don't think I ever read a thing.
Do you know what the origin of it is?
No.
It's the Punisher who has accepted Xanatos or Zarathos or whatever he is into him and became a herald for Galactus, I want to say. So I don't.
He was stuck on Earth. He was the only person on Earth for so long. He went crazy.
Okay.
Oh, it's the future?
It's a Punisher the End kind of thing. It's one of those. It's what happened. It's kind of off of the end kind of a story where he's the last one.
But is it set in the future then, or does it go back in time?
It's future, but I think
like what if future, right?
It's like an Elseworld type of a what if future type of a thing.
I think he looks cool in a really fucking ridiculous way. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. This was yours, Brian.
Yeah, it's another. Okay. This is Batman Mask of the Phantasm. I actually just watched this not that long ago. It's still really good.
Yeah.
It's still really good.
Did you show the kids or did you just watch it yourself?
No, I just watched it myself.
Yeah, I showed it to Big B and he was bored throughout it because it's a lot of romance.
Yeah. I do, but that's part of what actually I like about it is it's kind of more humanizing of Bruce Wayne instead of like, I don't know, sociopath Batman that we've had for the last, I don't know, since Frank Miller to now. And I mean, I like that in like a nutshell, but I kind of like this take, I think, of Batman. Like it was nice to see how he really struggled. He could have had a life that wasn't, consumed by my mommy and daddy issues. That he could have had like a life. So it's really interesting that they posed it that he had this opportunity, and then it was that because of that didn't happen. He went on to just be Batman. So.
It's like sort of loosely based on Batman Year 2, right? Like kind of ish. It's the Reaper.
I guess the Reaper look is very much that.
It's cool. You know what was cool about that is we got a fucking animated movie in the theaters. That was fucking cool. Like when that came out, I was like, wow, and we all forget that the Batman animated series was a primetime show. It wasn't like an after school show. It was on at like 8:00 at night.
No, it was not.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
I thought it was like 4:00 or something.
Out of his damn mind.
It was primetime.
No, it was primetime. Nope.
Are you sure you're not thinking of Batman Beyond?
No,
he's wrong. He's so wrong. Maybe at some point it got on primetime, maybe, but there's no way that started as a primetime show. Look, he's Googling.
Oh, yeah.
Ron, for $1,000 ugly bucks, what movie theater did I see Batman Mask of the Phantasm in?
See, I just brought up Southland. I'm going to go with Southland Cinema.
That's right. I specifically remember going to Southland to see this movie in the theater because I was so hyped that there was a cartoon Batman in the theater.
Yeah.
So yes, it was replayed in primetime, and they did it over the period of December 1992 to March 1993.
So you were wrong, is what we're saying.
You know what, John? I'm beyond arguing with you, John.
I mean, I just want to, you're like wrong. Did anybody have a problem with? Did anybody have a problem with the Reaper being like that? They took the Reaper story and they kind of bastardized it.
No, I mean, it's the truest Batman that you're ever going to get. But everything else is just kind of like, they created a new character for this movie, and it was pretty great.
Has anyone gone back and rewatched the animated series?
No,
not recently.
I know I've rewatched like Justice League a lot, you know, like at least 2 or 3 times, you know, but it's like, that's, of course, Batman is one I would like. I never really watched it when it was on TV. And so I wouldn't mind like getting into it. I did watch some Batman Beyond, but not a lot of the animated series, but it's something I was thinking about getting back into.
I just watched some Batman Beyond. That show's still good too.
Is it?
Yeah.
I just watched some of the like ones where they would have the time travel like type of stuff going on, and I like Batman Beyond because they had some of the old villains but different versions of them and stuff, you know. All right, let's see here. Oh boy, we must be getting into some good ones here. Granty,
Is this Grant?
Kneel before Zod.
is that it? That's all you got to say?
That's
Okay.
it.
It's another
That's all I
one
have to
where
say.
we all love it. It's the best of all the Superman movies.
Is it me or does Grant look like all 3 of these characters fucked Lex Luthor and then Grant came out?
Who had a boner for the girl?
Oh, come on. Raise your hands.
Yeah, she has that low cut top. It's very, very V-neck, if you know what I mean.
They all have that, John.
Terrence Stamp is very sexy in that V-neck.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a fucking classic. This movie is a classic. It's one of the best, if not the best.
Okay,
You got to see Superman fighting other Supermen.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. It was mind-blowing.
in this movie, does he take off his S and throw it at somebody?
He
Yes.
does.
Okay.
I didn't say it was perfect.
Well, to be fair, in the first movie, he did spin the world the opposite direction and somehow cause time travel. So, I mean, the movies are hokey. I mean, in a sense, but they were really fun. There's something very fun about these movies.
He gets married and ditches his powers. Is that this one?
He doesn't get married.
As soon as Clark loses his virginity, he loses his superpowers. He needs to be fucking pure and have those superpowers.
I
dude.
always
So
like that,
weird.
like Niagara Falls hotel room they went to with the like fire pit and stuff like that. I always like that hotel room. Okay, so then he loses his powers and then he gets his powers back and fights these dudes.
He tricks them.
That is a dope scene.
Yeah.
That scene is super dope when he tricks them and they bathe them in the red light or whatever the hell it is. Yeah. No, that's just really good.
And Stamp as Zod is like perfect, just fucking perfect, right? I mean, we've
had some villains, but he still is in top 3 all time of comic book villains. He's so good in this.
I mean, he's way better than the new Zod, right? Can we all agree that?
Yeah. As we're saying that the movie where Superman takes his S off and throws it at people is the best Superman movie. Yeah, it's better than the other Superman movies. That's for sure.
Oh my God. Yeah, I remember, John, where were we? We were at a convention, I think, and we decided to watch Man of Steel and we couldn't get through it. We were in a hotel room, laying in bed together, and we were like, there's no this movie.
That was in Seattle, Dave. We were staying in an Airbnb that had movies in it.
Okay.
And we watched Thor: The Dark World, and we watched Man of Steel, and we enjoyed we enjoyed Dark World much more than Man of Steel. That's sure.
I cannot believe that. I can't believe that.
Thor:
Dark World is a piece of shit.
No,
I cannot believe you're saying.
I like Dark World.
Really?
Awesome.
Maybe it's because I watched it in bed with Dave, but I like
that could be.
My hand jobs
believe
are
it.
magical. Like, yeah, I fucking incept good memories into your fucking cocks. That's what happens.
Here we go. All right, this one is. I think this is Ron. No, Grant. Ron, this is yours. Okay.
Yeah. It's all because of little group.
TOG 1 or 2?
2.
This is 2.
2.
Because
Really?
Mantis
is in it.
Yeah. If you see Mantis, that's 2.
And baby, little Groot.
The button scene with Rocket and Groot
That's
is
funny.
just like dealing with my kids.
Yeah.
And just for that,
Yeah.
classic to me.
Yeah,
You're really easy to please.
Doesn't this also have the one where he's like, is this in this or in an Avengers movie where Drax is the silent and you can't see him moving? Or is that in an Avengers movie? I can't remember. That's really funny.
I think that's in
too.
an Avengers.
That's a great scene.
Yeah. These are, I know, right? This is the one with I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. With Yondu coming down. This is a real. I honestly like. I like this movie better than 1. I do.
It's
hard. I like them both. They're pretty good for different reasons.
Yeah, I can't choose one over the other.
Well, this one has Kurt Russell in it, and that's pretty fucking awesome. And a de-aged Kurt Russell that looks dope. They should just de-age Kurt Russell and put him in everything. He's so fucking rad.
It also has Sylvester Stallone show up as Charlie 27, I believe. I don't know. He's one of the original Guardians in this.
Yeah, it's like the original Guardians are part of the pirate group, right?
Yeah.
They're like their own little offshoot.
Yeah.
I guarantee that they did that shit thinking that they were going to do another Guardians movie and have the old Guardians be in it, right? That you don't cast Stallone in that role unless you want him to be in more. I would assume.
So what were you going to say, Rob?
Oh no, I was going to say that was at the end with the they were doing the ceremony, right? Like they were showing all the characters in the ships. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Sylvester Stallone's crew is like the original. They're supposed to be the original guys.
Yeah.
And
I think Yondu, is that his name, was part of that group and was part of that group in the comic books too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. This is Dave's. We are definitely.
Oh, that's me. Very recent, and we just talked about it. We don't need to get into it, but it's just so fucking great. I mean, like, it's lighthearted. It's a teenage drama. You know, I love teenage dramas. It's a fucking road trip movie. It's just like everything I love about movies, and it's got Spider-Man in it. It's fucking cool. And Mysterio, you don't think he's gonna be fucking. It's Mysterio. It's like having the Penguin in a movie. You're like, this is gonna fucking suck, and it's amazing. It's one of the coolest fucking villains that you'll see in a Marvel movie. He's like evil Tony Stark, and I love I love that he's just getting revenge on Tony Stark because he was a Stark Industries employee. It's great.
They updated and explained Mysterio's powers perfectly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was going to say, like, that definitely, like, they did such a good job of making him seem like he could work. You know,
it was totally relevant.
Yeah.
I like that they reference a multiverse, even if it's fake in this movie, and we know that it's not fake in subsequent movies that are coming.
Right. Yeah.
Cumberbatch signed on to be Doctor Strange in the next Spider-Man movie, and at the end of this movie, the whole paradigm shifts, and so you're like, how the fuck is he going to get out of this? And it's going to tie into the Doctor Strange movie, which I'm fucking like, okay, phase whatever 5 is going to be pretty fucking rad. So yeah, I'm excited, and this movie, like Megan does not like superhero movies at all. She fucking loved this one. She was like, we could watch that again anytime. So yeah.
This one also, small part of it was that it showed that fucking Nick Fury had no problem letting a Skrull basically do his job or whatever. And who knows where Nick Fury is at the moment. But, you know, they showed that him and Maria Hill were both Skrulls, which to me, I think plays into the next future, you know, big storylines of Marvel. Is some of that.
Do you feel like the Skrulls are going to go bad? Do you feel like they're going to go bad? They're going to do Secret Invasion?
Of course.
Secret Invasion.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
It's weird because they are talking about Kang coming in, which I don't know if they're going to use him like a one movie villain. He's such a big villain, but I mean, I could see him trying to do it as one, but the Skrulls have to be used as like a setup villain. They've showed him in 2 movies now, you know, so it's like they're kind of just keeping him around in the background. But yeah, I thought this movie was really good, and Tom Holland.
Tom Holland is a killer.
Spider-Man, so good.
He's the best, right? He's the best Spider-Man, right?
And he's no, Tobey Maguire, but he's pretty good, you know.
He's no Garfield. What's the name?
Garfield.
Andrew Garfield.
Yeah.
Garfield the cat.
I think the problem is like Tom Holland is the perfect blend of awkward and cool, or at least like cool and likable, whereas Tobey Maguire is just doofy and not likable. And then Andrew Garfield thinks he's too cool for school, and it's not Spider-Man to me. You know, like
Tom
Spider-Man.
Holland is definitely, as Grant would say, nubile. And, you know, he definitely fits the role. He's a dancer by trade. So it's like he's built like Peter Parker would be built, you know, like lanky, like kind of thin, but like still you could tell he's muscular. And they do it. Hey, you can tell. Okay. And No, I think that he's probably, I don't know how long they have it. He's never going to grow up because he's already 3 or 4 years old. So this is what he looks like, I think. So hopefully he's around for.
He's never going to grow up. He's always going to be. He's always going to look like a horse jockey, is what you're saying.
Yes.
He's a little ass dude.
They did good job. They cast like a tiny adult as Spider-Man. That's what they did. All right,
Dave. Yeah, this
Dave.
is me.
Winter Soldier.
I love Winter Soldier. It's my favorite Cap movie. It's one of my favorite Marvel movies, and we mentioned it last time we talked about Far From Home, that like the Marvel movies are best when they take another subgenre and blend it in with the superhero shit, right? And this Cap is like definitely like secret agent, super spy, SHIELD movie, right? And that's why I love it. And yes, I do like ScarJo as Black Widow. John, what are you doing over there? But yeah, to me, this is the perfect movie. It bridges so many different aspects of the Marvel universe, and Cap is just a badass in it. I love it.
This is a great movie. I mean, this sets it all. This was we talked about it on the old podcast, but this was it. This was the switch where they kind of said, we're going for it. We're not going to just make a Captain America movie where it's, I'm Captain America and I fight a bad guy. And then at the end, it's all done. Like this movie didn't really end. You know, it's like that. A lot of these movies, what was so funny is they ended up, a lot of them didn't end. Something would happen, a climax would happen, but then you could tell that the next story was like, you're already like, okay, so the next movie's going to continue this, or Avengers is going to continue this. Like that was so good about it is that, I mean, you look at like Bucky back here and he's now a major character. Like they did such a good job introducing this character and keeping him relevant over all these movies, you know?
And this movie also gave us the Russo brothers as legitimate directors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Those dudes didn't really do much before this. They did like some Arrested Development stuff and, you know, like really small stuff. And then they do this movie, crush it. They fucking crush this movie. And then they get Cap 3 and the rest of the Avengers fucking franchise, which is mind-blowing. You know, like, imagine that. Like, you're like, oh, we got a Captain America movie. How awesome. And then they're like the biggest directors in Hollywood after this.
Sorry. And out of this movie, what's funny is that this movie introduces the great, great, great moment in our next movie, this scene right here, where Falcon in the beginning of Civil War is running around Cap and saying, on your left. And in this scene in Endgame is where he says, on your left again. And John starts crying in the movie theater like a big baby. Who picked this? Did I pick this? I think I picked this.
Yeah, you must have picked this.
Yeah. Because and I will tell you, this is why. Okay. I think Dave and Grant also said they would have picked this. Or who was the other person that said they would have?
I could have.
This movie, again, like I said, this scene and like subsequent scenes, like the part where he gets the hammer, I don't know if I've ever felt anything like that in a movie theater before. I can honestly say, I don't know if I've ever felt pure joy.
Moved.
It definitely moved. Oh, multiple. The thing that's crazy about this, so yeah, you go to the theater. This scene happens. The hammer scene happens. You lose your mind. The crowd loses their minds. I go home and then watch reaction videos of people watching this scene in the theaters. Like, that's how crazy I got with this scene. Like, this scene to me still, if I watch it right now on YouTube, I will tear up. I can't, the music, the like direct, the way they did it, it was so incredible. Like this movie, which is really just Infinity War and this movie kind of mashed together. But like, everything that we've all talked about in these Marvel movies leads to this moment, you know, and this.
What I love about this too, John, you're absolutely right. Like everything pays off, like, and it's paid off over like how many years? 10, 15?
Dude, forever.
Yeah. It's like, and you the on your left thing, it's such a weird little minor thing. And
right.
Yet, oh my God, like here it is. They like, you know, as much as people don't want to love these movies, shit about big budget Marvel movies ruining cinema or whatever, you know what? They did some shit that no one else has ever done ever. And the ambition, I applaud, like 100%. It's fucking crazy.
To have a cast like this spread out over 2 movies, you know, and people are coming in, people are going out. It's like you are not using every character, but you know they're there and could show up. And like this particular scene, you know, the first thing starts spinning and fucking Black Panther walks out and it's just like, oh shit. Like, and then Falcon comes around him, like right in front of him. And you're just like, it's moment. This is like, you go, oh, what are some of the most mega scenes you've ever seen in a movie theater, you know, where you're like, if it's like, say for instance, the Star Destroyer crashing into the other Star Destroyer in Jedi, you know, and it's like, this is it. This is the scene where you're like, well, this is everything I've ever wanted in a movie. You know, I don't know. It actually, the problem I have now, and not that I'm not going to watch every single one of them, but how do you top this? How do you do better than, like, could they have just said, we're never making these movies ever again after this, you know?
Could you imagine being someone that works on a DC film and watching this movie and being like, well, fuck it. Like, what are we going to do to even come close to this? Like, there's nothing that DC can do to even come close to it because it's like 10 years in the making and expertly done.
Yeah.
Like,
they're not even trying.
They're not even.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of setup for that.
Yeah.
The only thing I can think of that could come close would be like a Sinestro Corps Green Lantern movie. That's it. It's the only thing, but that's going to take a long time. You're talking years to kind of make those characters anything.
But if you look at this lineup of characters, like, and having them all moving together in one film, like, Sinestro War is great. I love it. But no one's going to give a flying fuck about half of the characters that are going to be
sure.
You know? So it's like, yeah, I mean, they didn't even try their best with Justice League. I'm curious about the Snyder Cut, but I actually think it's going to be just more of the same shit. To me, it's not going to be any better, but who knows?
They would have to do, the only other thing I could see is that they would go, hey, we're doing Secret Wars, but that's another Marvel thing. You know, and that's where, but DC doesn't even have that kind of thing.
They could do, I mean, I'm not saying it'll be good, but they would do Crisis.
Crisis is terrible, though. Crisis only exists so that they could,
agree.
like... No, see, like, Secret Wars basically was like, let's take everybody, mash them together to make popular things. Crisis was like, let's take everybody...
We need to clean shit up.
We've got 8 superhero men. We need 8 Supergirls, 8 Supermen. We need to get rid of these dudes.
But think about it. That is exactly how DC is in movies and TV. It's all over the place. I mean, they need a crisis.
Are they doing that with
They're
Flash?
in crisis.
Though? Like, Flash is bringing in, you know, Michael Keaton as Batman. So, I mean, it's like they're doing multiverse shit with Flash. So, I don't know. But
Yeah,
it is tough. They can never do this. DC can never do this, and we may be dead by the time they actually achieve this. Because
I don't even want it.
I know.
I don't even want it. I don't even care. DC's crushed my heart so many times in the comic books. I don't even want anything from them anymore. I just don't want anything from them.
Will they be putting out a DC? Is DC going to have an app where I can read their comics?
Yeah, they're getting rid of the DC Universe app. That's just going to become a comic book app, and then they're not going, and then everything's going to HBO Max. So,
okay, I will subscribe to the DC comic book app because that would be fun. I think. I
mean, maybe. No, I don't even know. Like, what do they have right now? DC Black Label, which is pretty cool. And then they've got.
I could catch up with Superman or Batman or something like that, right?
I just, you know what? I don't need to read any more Batman comics. What
happened? I used to love DC so damn much. What happened? They rebooted too much.
You know what? They rebooted too much.
Right.
Oh, they killed all the characters we love, or that they were building up. They were going for something special, and they said, "Nah, it's all right."
Yeah.
Here's Barry Allen.
Let's just do New 52, and now all of these characters that we've introduced for so long, for the last 10 years are just going to probably disappear.
Well, that's the thing. I feel like at least Marvel never did a hard reboot like that. You know what I mean? Like they've done some stupid shit for sure.
Marvel's will last for like half a year or a year, and then they'll just go back to normal. They don't stay in that shit at all.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see here.
But they are establishing a multiverse. I'm glad that you put this on. They are establishing a multiverse, and they have said that I don't know if it was Tobey Maguire, but someone signed on to be in a Spider-Man for an appearance, and I can't remember who it is, but it's an old Spider-Man because it's all Spider-Verse shit. It's all multiverse.
Whose pick was this? Mine, Grant.
If it wasn't mine, I would have picked it.
I might have been.
Could have been mine. I don't know.
Yeah. The reason that these three are in the order they are, the next three, so it was Endgame, this one, and then our number one, is because we all picked these, but we had to edit them out. Like a lot of us picked these top three. So Spider-Verse was a great one because, like Dave said, even though they did it as a cartoon, it totally explained the idea of the multiverse. Like it completely did and being a cartoon was able to do this phantasmical world of multiverses, and you could be like, yeah, I totally get this world. I get what Marvel is going for with this. And then next time you want to do it either in cartoon form or even in real form, you can just do it now because Spider-Verse introduced it.
Yep. And what's kind of cool and odd is, all of this old Spider-Man, the Andrew Garfields and the fucking Tobey Maguires and the Tom Hollands, they all exist, and they still all exist in this weird Spider-Verse, and that's kind of cool too. Like there isn't a wasted. I mean, it's all. I don't want to say there isn't any wasted space because those movies are real clunky, and some of them are better than others. But it's kind of cool to say, well, yeah, they all exist. Rather this than have two Batmans right now. You know what I mean? Like we've got the new Batman with what's his face, the Twilight
Pattinson, Robert Pattinson,
and I guess Affleck gone for Flash too. So there's going to be that Batman plus the Keaton Batman. So I think that's going to confuse more people. Whereas this movie made it plain and
funny. I love that we could be like, you see, guys, Marvel totally just showed us this stuff and it works. And then at the same breath be like, God, DC sucks for introducing all these different Batman. God, DC, what do you do? As we're staring at 5 Spider-Men in front of us, for God's sake.
This cartoon was a near perfect movie.
Near perfect.
What, if anything, could you say badly about it or didn't like or...
Nothing. I love how characters, I know we're supposed to sound bad. I loved how characters had a defined look to kind of, like even Kingpin reminded me of Bill Sienkiewicz.
Sienkiewicz, yeah.
Sienkiewicz.
Like it looked like, I was like, oh, dude, that's like his Kingpin. Yeah. They had all these styles going on, and it kind of made sense because we're talking about like other worlds, other dimensions of these characters. Oh man,
like Dr. Octopus could show up and be a different Dr. Octopus, but you still kind of get exactly what they're doing. You're like, oh, I get that. That's Dr. Octopus.
Mm-hmm.
And like Scorpion was a little different. And I was like, that was there. You go, Grant. If I had one complaint, Scorpion.
Okay.
My complaint is I just wanted more. I wanted more of all the. You know what I'm saying? Like even Penny Parker. Like I'm like that's a character that I don't really know anything about. Nor do I really care about that character. But at the same time, very fun and captivating to watch. So just give me more. I want more of all of it. So
give me more Nick Cage.
Oh, so great.
I love the Jake Johansson. Jake Johnson. Shout out to Jake Johansson, old stand-up comedian. Jake Johnson, his character was really cool because although it's like kind of an alternate reality Peter Parker, we've all read Spider-Man comics where at some point they had him going that route, that kind of loserish route, and although it didn't go that far where he got pot belly and all that kind of stuff, I just like that was a real good Peter Parker. It was a Peter Parker that I feel was very close to a Peter Parker I've read in comics before. Which is like,
you know what's rad?
Which is weird. You don't say that about a lot of the Peter Parkers, which is weird, but that was a very close Peter Parker.
Having Spider-Man 2099?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know.
Because I was waiting for that throughout the whole thing, and I lost it.
Oh yeah, I can't wait for them to bring him into the next one. They're going to. It's going to be awesome.
Did they say anything about the plot of the next one? It's still Miles centric, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has.
You know what's rad too, Brian? Like I've been playing that Spider-Man game on PlayStation, right? And Miles shows up, and it's not this Miles; it's a different Miles, right? But the fact that I know that there's a Spider-Verse makes it feel like it exists. It exists in its own world, and there's a lot of crossover and bleeding in, but it feels like part of the Spider-Verse, which I fucking love. It's great.
I heard that the animators have said that the next one's going to be even crazier in terms of the new stuff that they're pulling out for the animation, which I don't see how they could, because the animation in this one was some of the greatest stuff I think I've ever seen on film. It really was one of the. This is very tough to be 2 or 1 in terms of my all-time favorite.
Hey, John,
movie.
I have it in 3D. Do you still have a 3D TV?
Of course I do.
Yeah, you want to borrow it? You should borrow it from me.
I'm all right. I'll survive.
Dave Flicks, he's gonna mail it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and then this was our consensus number 1, not Spider-Verse, but this one.
Oh, very good.
Fucking amazing. That's the best. That's the best.
I will say that if I'm really being 1,000% honest, this is not it is not as good as Spider-Verse, but because of the humor, because of the Hulk, because of it definitely is the number 1. But as a film, it's probably not as pure as Spider-Verse in terms of, I probably could find something wrong with this movie if I really wanted to, but
I would agree with that.
I'm finding so much wrong with you right now.
I know.
Huh?
But in that same breath, I must say that we can all 100% agree this is the best Hulk ever on film.
Mm.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
That seems like a low bar, though.
I think Ryan will say that he was disappointed with this movie because Planet Hulk was glossed over.
Yeah, this is a tough movie because I think it's great. I think it's a great movie. Super fun. I showed my kids this. They loved it. It's so good. And I'm never going to see a Planet Hulk movie, like a proper one. Like it's like I'm so torn because I love the movie. It's so well done.
I'm right there with you, Brian. But and I agree. I think they probably won't go revisit, but they could.
They could. That's true.
They could just have him, get there and his whole journey. I mean, have that be its own fucking movie.
I would take a Disney Plus show. I'd take it. Just get Ruffalo to sign on, do a Disney Plus. It could be like 4 or 5 episodes. I don't give a crap. I'd take that.
You want to hear the crazy?
I don't need a movie. I'd take that.
I'd be down with a cartoon as long as it's not a kiddie one.
Yeah.
The crazy thing is the rights for a Hulk movie were tied up, I think, at Universal. And that's why they can do the Hulk in the Avengers movies and in Thor, but they can't make a Hulk movie because Universal owns the rights to it. So it's fucked. It's a Sony situation that you just want fucking Disney to buy Universal so that we can get a fucking Hulk movie.
Right.
Talked about this when we talked about Spider-Verse, but what I think was great about Spider-Verse, like we said, is the cartoon aspect of it, introducing things that you can't do in movies. Like, it would have been hard to do Spider-Verse as a film. They could have done it. It probably wouldn't have been as good. But you make a movie so successful like Spider-Verse as a cartoon where you introduce high-minded concepts, multiverses and all that kind of shit. That's what, like with Grant saying, it's like, why can't Marvel just say, like, we're going to start banging out one incredibly well-done animated movie like every couple years or something. Just like do a Spider-Verse, but do it with you could even introduce characters that you would think wouldn't really work as film characters. But as long as you introduce them this way, like for instance, Miles could now show up in a live action movie and you would go, oh, that's Miles. I get it now. I get that. Spider-Man Noir could show up and you'd be like, well, I've already seen this character. I think you could do some really big ideas. And if you were to do a Planet Hulk or something like that, it's like, what a great idea, man. And that's how Marvel has been so successful, because they can really get away with this. This is our first appearance too of Funny Hemsworth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is a huge deal.
His comedy is fucking. He's a better comedian than I think like a hunky dude. I mean, I know that like ladies would argue otherwise. Like, no, you're fucking crazy. But he's really fucking funny. And Taika Waititi. This movie gave us Taika Waititi as a fucking legitimate big budget director. Now he's fucking doing the next one, and he's doing Mandalorian. Yeah, he's fucking awesome. So love it.
No, I thoroughly comedy. Definitely. Yeah. Like this one was hands down the funniest, while also having the best Hulk and Thor. And like, I mean, when have you ever seen a third movie that like, then all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is the best one. And like, I want now on number 3, I mean, maybe Fast and the Furious. No, but like on number 3, I now want to see
Tokyo Drift, bitch.
I now want to see 3 more Thor movies after this.
Yeah.
You know? Because of how great he was in this. And then, of course, he got Endgame, where it's like he's at peak Thor in that one. Is like so good. I love they made Hulk talking in this is really great, too.
Yeah.
You know, like from the get-go in this movie where Thor's hanging from the chain and I can't remember who the
Surtur.
Yeah.
Surtur. Yeah, that whole scene.
Oh, I love that scene.
So tone for the entire
I left one out. I did leave one out. Shit.
What did you leave out?
Dredd.
Doctor Strange. Oh.
And Doctor Strange. Where is it? Did I pass it?
Dredd and what?
Oh. Pardon me, guys. I apologize. I must have left those out.
Dredd and what?
Doctor Strange.
It was the randomizer.
The randomizer. We're gonna left it out.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Venom you had to delete 5 copies of the Venom file and then fucking 2 got dropped off.
I know. I totally saved. I saved them. I don't know what I did. Anyway, so that was our other 2 was Dredd. Who picked Dredd?
I did. Yeah, I fucking love Dredd. Like, it is balls to the wall, and I know that it is basically, what is that movie, Brian? The Raid. It's basically Raid, but it's Judge Dredd, and it's the dude from The Boys.
Carl Urban.
Carl Urban, man.
Yeah. Right, Carl Urban. It never takes a fucking mask off. Is Dredd perfectly, and that in 3D because of the slow-mo drug is fucking awesome. Like it's a joy. It's a great.
Carl Urban, 3 comic book characters going so far. Does he have more? I know he's got The Boys. He's got Executioner from Thor Ragnarok. Right. And
he's great in Thor Ragnarok too.
Right. Yeah. I'll have to look if he has on. He might have a 4th on there somewhere. I'm sure I know he's in Star Trek.
I'll look it up. You guys talk about Doctor Strange.
He's in Lord of the Rings, but
he's been in. He's a good genre guy because he's been in also Star Trek, which was technically a comic book also. So I mean, you could go with that one. All right, who picked Doctor Strange? I hate Doctor Strange. I'm sorry, Greg.
Oh, Doctor Strange is so good.
That's why the randomizer booted it off. It wasn't my favorite. Kelly loves it. I don't love it. I don't know. Maybe it's Doctor Strange. Maybe it's just him as a character.
It could be.
You've never been a huge Doctor Strange fan.
I don't think that anyone's ever been a huge Doctor Strange fan.
I've always loved him. Yeah.
What?
Always.
Okay,
the bands of the Sitarak and the Eye of Agamoth. The bands of Vishnu. Visharat.
Are you guys ready for this, though? Carl Urban was in Doom, which is a video game, so it doesn't really count. But
doesn't count.
He was in Star Trek, does count. Red, which is
that's a comic. There's a comic.
He was in a thing called Priest, which is based on a anime.
Okay.
Or manga. He was in Dredd, and he was in Riddick, by the way.
Yes, he was.
What?
He was one of the main like bad guys in Riddick.
I don't even remember that.
Ragnarok. He was Sergeant Rock in the Sergeant Rock made for DVD cartoon, and then he was Butcher in The Boys. So he's been in a lot. There's been a lot of It's like, look at that gold-plated dog.
Look at the dog.
I'm as much as Dave's comic books.
Look at it.
I will live for 15 years and give joy to my family
Until it breaks your
being
heart.
in a box.
Don't worry. I know you're going to put it in a box, John. I know.
I'm gonna get my dog slabbed. I hope he's a 9.8.
Are you gonna name him Modog?
Modog.
Oh, Modog.
A Modog.
Yeah. Modoc is even fine too.
What is that dog's name?
We have no name for it yet. We are having a hard time coming up with the right name. It's hard. You know, you got to have that like Dirk Diggler, like neon, like flashing light, like show up that tells you the name, you know, and it hasn't happened yet.
Okay.
So I thought
Right?
I don't know. We had Buster for a while, but I don't love Buster. No.
You never liked Busters.
No.
You hated
I don't.
Buster.
I hate a Busta, unless his name is Busta Rhymes.
But that's not Buster. That's
Busta.
It's Buster.
All right. Well, that was our favorite cinematic films. Anything we left off that you guys think would be good? Dave said Big Hero 6, Sin City, and 300 were three that he would have maybe left off, put on there.
That's true. Yeah.
None of us put any Batman movies on there. Except for Lego Batman. Sorry, Ron. Oh, I also left Rocketeer off. Where was Rocketeer?
That's mine
Rocketeer.
too.
Good.
Yeah, that's Joe Johnston, the guy who directed the first Cat movie too.
Yeah.
He's
And
great.
Jennifer Connelly.
Damn, looking like Betty Page. Oh, that's two great tastes that go great together, right there.
I don't know. I saved these things. I tell you, technical difficulties. I saved these things and everything. I took all that time. Oh, and I forgot another one too. Ron, Teen Titan Go to the Movies. That was your other one.
Yeah, I wasn't even going to bring it up.
That's a great movie.
Well, this was a really great episode that ultimately failed.
No, but that was really good. Yeah. Any other movies that anybody thought of besides the three I just mentioned that Dave brought up? Any other comic book movies that jump at? Watchmen? Anything like that? Like any Batman?
What about so Dark Knight kind of fell off the face of the earth, huh?
Yeah. Is that nobody had
We
Dark Knight on there?
we all just got Batman fatigue. Probably.
Yeah. It's still a really good movie.
Spidey
but-
2?
No, I think at this point that's kind of like we're past
Third or
it.
fourth, maybe.
You know what?
fourth
You know what
best
didn't
one.
make
I don't hate it, but I still think it's okay. But
Mhm.
X2 didn't make the list. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, but First Class is now better than X2. So it's like
Is
a
it?
lot. Yeah, it is. It is. Those the first X-Men movies are kind of not good at all. X-Men 1 is really garbage. That's a hot.
Yeah, that
garbage
one's
movie
Oh,
right
it's really bad. It's-
yeah.
but they
I would
tried.
say they did, but they didn't know that they could actually make a comic book movie. They thought they had to like make it into a real thing or whatever.
X2, I still think is good.
Not bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
The best of that cast, I think.
Oh yeah.
I would Ghost World was one I would have picked if there was a longer list, I think. I thought that was a good comic book adaptation.
Joe. Cool. ScarJo.
Early ScarJo.
What'd you guys think of Wanted?
I don't really.
Want to.
I just don't.
I didn't care for it as an
I didn't.
adaptation.
I didn't.
But I don't know if it's a bad movie.
I love the graphic novel. The movie just didn't work.
Oh, it didn't capture it at all.
No,
Yeah.
they
Well,
were
that's
so
the thing.
off. They were so off on it. Like the movie, I reread the comic book every now and then because I love that book so much, and it leans to the comic leans so heavy into superhero style stuff. You know, it's like people have powers. There's a lot, and then in the movie it became all assassins and stuff, and it's like, well, see, that's not as fun. It's more fun when there's a shit monster. All right, that's like makes it much better.
What's a good one that we didn't talk about was Kick-Ass. Pretty good.
Is it
That's
good
good.
though? It has its moments. It also was another one where at the end when he's flying around in that helicopter propeller thing, I thought that was stupid. So it's like it's about a 3/4 of a good movie that kind of falls apart at the end.
You basically just described pretty much every comic movie before a certain time.
Is Kingsman a comic book?
Yep.
It is, yeah.
That's a good one too. That's
Not
great.
bad
Those
either.
are all Millar. Millar stuff is, I don't know.
Yeah.
Didn't he make one thing? I mean, I feel like he's made one thing, and he kind of tweaks it, then he puts it out.
Bart Millar did do that Wolverine versus Hulk, didn't he? That was illustrated by Lionel Yu. Was that his?
No, that was
Lindelof.
That was Lindelof.
Ooh, that was a good one. Ruffalo has approached Marvel that a good way to do a Hulk movie would be have Hulk versus Wolverine be a movie.
Oh, that would be fucking awesome.
I think that's a great idea. See, this is
Yeah.
what we're
Hey,
talking about.
guess who's selling your dog? I mean, not your dog, my comic book. When that movie comes out, I'm selling the fuck out of that comic book.
I just think that this is kind of how they should do some of this stuff moving forward. Whether it's Cap 3, where it's Civil War, where it's not a Cap movie, it's everything. Right. And Thor Ragnarok is a Hulk movie also. It's like, why not just start doing this stuff where it's like, if you have these characters that you don't have anywhere to put them all into a movie together and stuff and just make it happen, you know?
Do you guys like Keanu as Wolverine? Or do you want someone... What?
Keanu?
Nobody said that's happening. Is that a thing?
That's the rumor.
No.
Keanu as Wolverine?
No, too old.
This is Old Man Logan?
Seriously, it's too old.
Not gonna.
I love Keanu, but he does not seem like Wolverine at all to me.
I like Grant's idea of that Letterkenny guy.
Who?
The guy from Letterkenny.
The all-girl band, Sleater-Kinney?
No, the show, Letterkenny.
I don't know this show.
You watch every show. How do you not know this show?
I'll look it up, but...
He's Canadian.
Right.
Yeah, they need to get a short, hairy dude and just roll with it.
All right. Well, that was our favorite cinematic movies, comic book movies. We're going to get out of here now. We've been doing this for a lot longer than Dave wanted to. He needs to go watch a basketball game.
Yes, he does.
And I need to feed my children, or my chilled, not a children, chilled, just a chilled.
You're chilled?
But just one chilled, one chilled.
Shaken, not stirred. Chilled.
Yeah, chilled. Yeah. So anybody
MODOK.
got anything to add? Anything exciting? No?
No, I think that's it. But everyone should press the like button down below and leave a comment.
That's right. And tell a friend about this show because we are just cooking with gas here.
Cooking with gas.
Completely well produced.
Oh my goodness.
I'll go figure out why the randomizer did not show those 3 movies.
We'll fix it next time.
Don't bother. Don't fucking...
Son of a bitch. All right, guys. You guys have a great rest of the week. I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, guys. Talk to you soon.
Bye.